Hi everyone, so with everything that's going on in the world, I am seeing a lot of generosity, which is very much well deserved, towards the NHS, and people are getting creative and making things. So I thought I'd show you how to make some cupcake toppers. I'm going to show you how to do 6 different designs, and I've tried to keep them as simple as I can without using too many tools so that everybody can have a go. What you will need is a sharp knife, a rolling pin, a paintbrush, and we're going to be using both ends of the paintbrush. I've got a small pot of water. You only need a tiny amount of water. And then I've got some coloured fondant. This is just supermarket fondant, and then I've coloured it using gel colours. You can buy them ready coloured, or if you can't get hold of the colour that I've got here, you can change it up and use something else. So I've got a dark blue, a light yellow, a caramelly colour, a bit of black, a bit of grey, a bit of white, red, and a pink for skin colour. I've cut 3 toppers out already using the circle cutter. This is the same size as the top of my cupcakes and what I always use to make the toppers. If you don't have one of these, you could use the top of a glass or maybe a cup, or just get a piece of paper, pop it over your cupcake and then cut it out freehand, and then use that as a stencil to cut out a circle. Whichever way works for you, basically. So I'm going to make a start. The first one I'm going to do is I'm going to make some little tablets. So I'm going to have that on a blue topper. So I'm going to get some of the blue and I'm going to roll that out. Thickness wise, you want it a couple of millimetres thick, probably about a pound coin thickness, and then the cutter goes on. So if you didn't have the cutter, then you could put the cup on and go around the cup, or if you've cut it out in card, pop that on and then just cut round it. But if you are using the cutter, twist it, move the excess away, and then just give it a wiggle. That'll give you the nice clean edges. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that to the side. If it's sticking to the board, just pop a little bit of icing sugar down. So I'm going to start with the white, and I'm just going to get a ball, and then I'm going to roll it into a sausage. I have dyed my hands different colours making these, so that's what's on my hands. Okay, so we're looking at making the capsule tablet, so just roll it to the size that you're happy with. And then I'm going to do a red one. They are different sizes, but you'll see what I'm doing in a minute. And then I'm going to do the same again with both colours. Try and get them to the same thickness. Okay, so when you've got that, we're then going to cut the 2 sides. So with the knife, I'm just very gently, I'm not going straight in because I don't want to flatten it in any way. So I'm just very gently backwards and forwards until I go the whole way through. Just going to neaten off them edges. That didn't go through very clear. Okay, and then the same for the other one. And then obviously I'm not going in the middle for the white ones because it's a lot longer. So roughly the same on each side. That one's probably a bit big. Okay, and then with a tiny bit of water, so I'm not putting loads of water on, it's going in the water and then I'm wiping most of it off. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of water. See if I can do it so you can see. It's quite small and thick. Sorry, I had a message come through then and it stopped the filming. So I'm just going to gently rub them together. And just neaten them off until you're happy with them. And then I'm going to do the same on all the others. Just make sure that they're tight against each other. Okay, so I'm just going to do the 3 and then a little bit of water, and I'm going to stick them on to the topper. Okay, and then I'm going to do some flat cupcakes, tablets. So I'm going to get just a little ball. I'm rolling it to get any lines out and then squashing it down. Roll in and squash them. Okay, if you do have a small circle cutter, you could use that. And then with the back of the knife, make sure I'm in the middle. I'm just going to push down gently. I'm not going all the way through, just going down a little bit. And then we're going to stick them on as well. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's the first topper. First one is the tablets. Okay, and then I'm going to do like a nurse's outfit. So I'm going to get some of them, get the blue, and I'm going to cut the topper. So we're rolling it out to the same thickness as before. Okay, and then the first thing we need to do is make the nurse's neck. So I'm going to get some of the pale pink, and I'm rolling this quite thin. And I'm just going to cut a triangle. Kids have got the TV on really loud. I don't know if you can hear it. Okay, a tiny bit of water at the top. And you want, let me see if I can turn it around and do it so you can see. So I want the circle about 3/4 of the way up. Just straighten that off. And then I'm going to leave that excess on at the minute. If you don't have a cutter, then you're going to want to trim that off. And then I'm going to get the blue back and I'm going to do 2 more triangles. But to make sure that the triangles match, I'm going to do a big triangle and then go down the middle. Okay, tiny bit of water down each side of that first triangle. And then these are just going to go either side. It's hard to do upside down. I know you can't see. Can you? You can. So make sure that they're up against the first bit for the neck. And then just match them up. Neaten off any edges. Okay, and then I'm going to need a little bit of white. So again, if you're not using the circle cutter, trim them off. So the white, I'm just rolling it into a really long, thinnish sausage. You want it all the same thickness as best you can. It can be quite tricky. So a little bit of water and we're just going down them edges. And then I'm just laying that along that edge. Cut it up and do the same the other side. Okay, and then if you are using a cutter, I'm then going to trim all that off together. So I'm going to place the cutter over the circle. And trim that off. And then just go back in with my knife and sharpen up any of the edges. Okay. And then with the knife, I'm going to go down the middle. So I'm going to put in a little bit of pressure on. I'm not going all the way through. And that's for the middle of the uniform. It's not very straight, actually. It's not straight at all. That's what happens when you try and do it upside down. I weren't even doing it upside down. Oh dear. Okay, I'll do that again. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to add a little pocket. So I'm going to get the blue again. I'm going to roll it out. And I'm just going to cut a little square. A little bit of water, stick that on. And then with the knife I'm going to put a little bit of detail at the top. Can't believe I did that not straight. Okay, I've no idea if that's straight either because I'm looking at it at a funny angle. And then I'm going to do a little pocket watch. So I'm going to get a little tiny bit of the grey and I'm going to roll that out and cut a small strip. And just cut a small bit off. This is going to go here. Okay, and then the watch itself, so a little bit, probably a bit more. So I'm just going to get a small ball, put that on the end and just push it down. I think that's finished, that's the uniform. Obviously minus the imperfection where we messed up. So that's another one. And then I'm going to do a little plaster. So I'm going to get some of the caramelly colour and I'm just going to roll it out. Let's give it a knead first. So after handling the deeper colours, you best then go in to wash your hands because I'm transferring the dark blue onto the caramel. Okay, and then I'm just going to cut a strip. And then cut that down to the length that I want my plaster. I'm just going to use the circle as a guide so I don't make a plaster that's too big. So I'm going to go about here. And then this bit we're cutting off, I'm still going to need. I'm just going to slightly cut off a tiny bit of the corners. And then with the knife, I'm going to make them, soften them corners. Okay, you can pick it up and do it if it's easier. And then I'm going to cut a bit for the middle. Just going to neaten off them edges. And then make sure that's central in the middle. And I'm just pushing on the edges just to soften them a little bit. And then making sure it's straight with the knife. Okay, and then with the back of the paintbrush, I'm putting in some dots. Okay, and that's plasters, pop it back into shape if it's come out of shape. And then that's going to go on one of the white ones that we've already done. Just a little bit of water. And I'm just making it's gone out of shape a little bit, so I'm just popping it back into shape. Oh, God. It's not going well today. Okay, so that's 3. So the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to make some little scrubs. So I'm going to need the blue back. And I'm rolling it out. Again, thin but not too thin. No, that doesn't really help a great deal. And then I'm going to cut it out. Although this isn't the topper, I am cutting it out just so I can see where I'm cutting. I'll move you. I've just realised you're how far away you are. So this is going to be upside down for you. But basically what I'm doing is I'm going to cut a t-shirt. So I'm going down that side, down the other side, and then at an angle here. So this is the bottom of the sleeve. Do the other side. And then at the top of the sleeve. Do the same for the other side. Okay, and then I'm going to cut the sleeves. And then I'm going to cut the top. Cut the bottom. And then I'm going to put the V in, because the scrubs, I believe, are V-necks. So one there. And then just neaten off these edges. I'm going to turn it back round so I can see what I'm doing. So just do what you can to make it match. And then just neaten off the edges. You can use the paintbrush to soften them edges, or you can use your knife. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of detail, so at the bottom, just very lightly with the knife. And then either side of the V. And at the bottom of the sleeves. And then for the trousers, we're not going to see that much of the trousers, so I'm just going to do the bottoms of them. So I'm just going to cut two strips about the same width as the arms. Just neaten off the ends. Add a little bit of detail. Okay, and then I'm getting the topper. A little bit of water here at the sides, and that's where I'm going to put the legs. So it's going to look like that the trousers are on top. No, the other way around. The top is on top of the trousers. So I think I should go to bed and start today again. Bit of water in the middle. And then that's just going to sit over the top. Okay, so that's the next one. Just got some little scrubs. So the next one I'm going to do is a face. So I've got the light pink, and I'm just going to roll that out and make a topper. And then I'm going to get the pale yellow, and I'm going to make some hair. So I'm rolling this out about the same thickness as the topper. And then I'm going to do another circle. And it's not perfect at the bottom because I'm going to cut that down. So about a third of the way in, I'm going to cut that off. And then grab a little bit of water, and that's going to go on the top of the face. Okay, and it does overlap a little bit, so you could either trim that off or just get the cutter back in and cut that down. Okay, and then with the back of my paintbrush, I'm just going to drag this down and make it look a bit like hair. Okay, and then I'm going to add the eyes. So I'm just going to spin it back round so I can see what I'm doing. So again, with the back of the paintbrush, just underneath the hair, I'm going to put in two little dots where the eyes are going to go. And then I'm going to put a face mask on the little nurse. So I'm going to get some of the dark blue, and I'm going to roll that out quite thin, but not too thin that it's too hard to work with. And then I'm going to cut a rectangle. Okay, just check that for size. And then I'm going to trim it down there and there. Okay, I'm just going to check that for size again. Okay, and then I'm gonna just cut off the corners and just make it more rounded. And then just go over, you can pick it up and go over it with your fingers, or just use the edge of the knife just to round off them edges. And then I'm going to make a little nose, so a tiny bit of water just between the eyes, just to third down a little bit. I'm going to get a little bit of the light pink and just pop a little nose on there. A bit more water underneath. And then we're going to pop this face mask on. So I'm going to have it covering the bottom of the nose. And just neaten up the edges. So to neaten up the edges, you could use the paintbrush. Okay, and then I'm going to make some little ears. So just at the bottom of the hair, I'm going to add a tiny bit of water. 2 small balls, not bowls, balls of the light pink. Make sure they're the same size. And then I'm just going to pop them on. And then with the back of the paintbrush, I'm just going in the middle of the ball and pushing down. Just makes it look a bit ear-like. Okay, and then some more blue. And I'm going to roll it into a really thin sausage. And this is going to be the straps for the mask. Now, it's quite tricky doing this with supermarket fondant because it's so sticky and it breaks easy. Just try your best, get it as thin as you can. And then again, a tiny bit of water just around there. And then I'm going to loop it around the ear. Use my paintbrush to push it into position. And I've one going to the top, one going to the bottom, and then just trim it off with the knife. And then you can use your paintbrush just to neaten them edges. And then the exact same thing on the opposite side. Try and get this at the same thickness as the one we've just done. Not quite going to plan. Oh, I've got dropsies now, I'm dropping everything. Tiny bit of water again. And just, that one's actually a bit thinner, I'm going to redo that. Okay, that's about the same, just check. And then wrap it around the ears again. And trim it off. Okay, and then you can add some little lines, so just with the back of the paintbrush, just add some lines to the mask. And then I'm going to add some little eyes, so 2 tiny balls of black. You want them the same size. If you're struggling to get them the same size, you can just get 1 ball and cut it in half. And that will give you then 2 little balls the same size. If you've got any black sugar pearls, you can use them. They're actually a bit big, so I'm going to do that again. Just take a bit off. Okay, a little bit of water in the eyes, and then just drop them in. Okay, I've got blue fondant everywhere now. There's a bit in the hair. Okay, so you can add a little tiny speck of white to each side of the eyeball. It just gives it a bit, looks a bit more realistic. But I'm going to leave that as that is. I'm just going to add a tiny little hole at the bottom for the chin. If you wanted to make that look more like a nurse, you could, like a female nurse, you could maybe add a little bobble at the top and then get a small amount and make like a tear shape. Again, put the lines in for the hair and have that out to the side. Or you could, if she's got a bob, like a big bun, so you could get a big bit of, I've got blue fondant all over that, so ignore that example. And then put the lines in, make it look like she's got a bun, if you know a nurse that always has her hair up. But I'm going to keep that like that. So then we've got our little nurse's face. And then the last one I'm going to do is a stethoscope. Now I struggle saying that word, so I'm going to go. Just going to do the topper. Okay, so the colours I'm going to use. I should have needed that fondant. Always need your fondant when you've not been working with it, just to bring it back to life. So I don't know what colour they are, but I think I'm gonna use red, just so it matches in with the colour scheme. So then we've got a bit of red from the tablets that we did. So I'm gonna roll it out into a thin sausage. And then I'm going to kind of make it look a bit like a heart. So I'm going to bend it over, pop a little bit of water on here. And just make a heart shape. Just stick it down with a tiny bit of water. I've moved it. Okay, and then I'm going to use grey. So a small ball that's squashed down. It's going to go at the end. And then I'm going to use the blue. So again, I'm using all the same colours. Again, I'm going to do a small sausage. And I'm going to bend it. Small amount of water. Trim it off. So the thing when you're using coloured fondant on a white, if you stick something down and then change your mind, once you've moved it, it will have stained the fondant. You can use a little bit of Rejuvenator Spirit, which will remove it. And then I've just made 2 little circles, flatten them down, and they're just going to go on the ends. So 1, 2. So you could probably benefit from being a little bit bigger, that one. So I'd bring it up here and have it a bit bigger. But there we go. So we've got the stethoscope. We've got the outfit, a little nurse's uniform, the face, the plaster, tablets and the little scrubs. Okay, so just get your cupcake, add a little bit of buttercream, and then just pick these up, use the knife if you need to, and then just pop them on top of your cupcakes, and they're all completely edible. So this is just a really quick video. I've tried to make it, like I said, using as little tools as I can, so it's accessible to everybody. And so if you want to have a go at making these, feel free to reproduce them. And if you do make them, I'd really like to see. And any questions, you can let me know and I'll help you if you get stuck. Thank you.